Hi YouTube, welcome back. Right, listen. So the fridge is groaning again, right? And I've said this time and time again. It's because these things go over, right? Now, I'll take you outside. So now I'm back in my office, right? I've showed you the orbs outside in the sky, alright? I'm going to do that. And hold this up just here. Alright, see what happens up. Alright? No tricks. Right, see the orbs? Look. Him? Well, I've got a theory. Right? I think what you're seeing here in this reflection, these orbs flying, is a manifestation of what's going on. Alright? If you look, right, this is just my office window. No tricks, alright? Look. See this? There are these orbs everywhere. I'll just prove to you they're outside as well, right? Now, I want to try and called out to the truth community, right? So I went to see David Icke 20 years ago. Took my dad, and it changed my life. Right? I'm just gonna try and give you a brief history. I've always been interested in ancient history and, you know, all these myths and, you know, how they built these places, and like a lot of people, you know, ask questions. Never take what somebody tells you is the truth. Alright, then I've been a bit of a party boy. Went out a lot when I was younger. Went to Glastonbury a couple of years ago. Had a good time. Come back, thought I was on like a back ender. I never dream, but I had 6 nightmares in a row. And every time I woke up I had this overwhelming sense that there was something in the sky, right? Let me show you this. You see this manifest, and that look normal to you? Because it's not drawn on my window. The circle is, because it's supposed to be stuck. Yeah, anyway, then after having this almost same nightmare for 6 nights, woke up, bosh, I could see this thing in the sky, right? I've done a lot of reading in my life. I said David Icke, Graham Hancock, one of my heroes, met the guy a few times, amazing, brilliant speaker. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I don't think a lot of this history would have even been looked into, you know. He went against the mainstream, you know, the bollocks they teach us, and he started to question it. So he's one of my heroes. David Talbot. Now I read him because of David Icke, with the Saturn myth, which then led me to the Thunderbolts project, and how plasma discharges in ancient skies are recorded in caves all over the world. But anyway, when I had it was, you know, I consider myself awake, but maybe it was my proper awakening moment, I'm not sure. In my studio outside, there, where we rehearse and stuff like that. I'm going to turn this up so you can see it a bit more. Look. Anyway, so just read. Anyway, yeah. So I went through this like a, I don't know, I suppose awakening moment, and quickly stumbled onto Santos Bacchini, but Bacciani Bacchini. I'm sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce your name, but he was talking about minerals and astrology, about how they rubbished astrology, and you know, they've made it, you know, like that it's not important, but it turns out that the day, month, year, hour, minute, second you were born will govern your whole entire life. And if you know the secrets on how to read this and read the signs and know what you're looking for, you know, you can lead your life better, you can become successful, you can use the energies that these things create, you know, for spiritual awakening, call it what you want, you know, but it's true anyway. But then they've rubbished it in the mainstream media. But Santos Bacchini was like, look, you know, this is so important to everybody, and people don't understand. He was going on about minerals, which I then looked into. I've been taking minerals now for 2 years, and it's incredible because you don't need the vitamins. You need stuff like bicarbonate of soda, because if you take that every day, it prevents you getting cancer, because cancer can't survive in an alkali body. We all have very acidic diets because of the shit food that we eat. So if you take bicarbonate of soda every morning in a little bit of water, it alkalises your body straight away. I didn't think it'd work, boom, it works. Minerals are the same, we're all built on minerals, so it makes sense. Somebody, you know, if you consume minerals, your body can repair itself. Now these are all things that we should all know and we should all have been taught, but it's all been kept from us. And I feel like I've come to a bit of a standstill with this Planet X, right? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to say I'm a flat earther because I don't want to, but then I'm not going to say I'm not a flat earther either. I've done experiments and I went to the old Bedford level myself and took my P900 down there, and you can see the bridge on the other end, right? So it's either bigger than Otalis or whatever, all right? But let's not get into that because that's not what I'm trying to go on about. But at the same time, you know, water finds a level. You know, you have to believe what you see and not what you're told, and sometimes the most simplest explanation is the best one, yeah? Anyway, for some reason I came across Martin Liedick. Now he's going on about the, you know, flat earth British. He's brilliant. I love him. I love what he's done, exposing like Tartaria and the mud floods, and you know, or being a big part of that movement anyway. And it's fascinated me because obviously it's history and stuff like that. And he keeps going on about resets, and that we haven't just had one reset; we've had many resets over and over again. All right. So anyway, that got me to thinking, well, how can they have resets and, you know, and we not know about it and blah blah blah. I then stumbled across something tonight, Santos Bacchini again, and he was going on about the plasma effect. That there is a coming plasma effect, or plasma catastrophe, and what it does, it annihilates. Santos Bacchini doesn't say that, but you know, by all accounts, a plasma discharge from above us was what actually created the Grand Canyon. It wasn't a river that's happened over millions and millions of years. It happened probably instantly. There are accounts all over the world of you know, great thunderbolts coming from the sky and evaporating, you know, like pulverising mountains into nothing, you know, making them disappear, which then leads back to the Thunderbolts project and how these plasma discharges were recorded by early people, cavemen, whatever you want to call them, but they were recorded while people were hiding underground from them, from this lightning in the sky, and they were recording them and recording what they were seeing in the sky. It looked like this looks like a little dancing man. That's what it looks like. And the Thunderbolts Project have tied all this in very nicely. So look, it got me to thinking. Right now, it's hard when I've done the experiments and you think the Earth, well, there's a good possibility the Earth's flat, but you're seeing planets in the sky like I'm seeing, right? Because I'm seeing these in the sky every day, and I'm going to show some of this footage that I've got over at the end, you know, setting cameras up. And it's crazy because I set a camera up over there, outside, you can't see that, but I set a camera up on my roof over there, and I left it to record. Right now it looks like the sun just literally just comes straight towards us, and when you play it backwards it's just literally moving in a straight line pretty much from east to west. But what if, I'm going to try and tie everything in now, but I'm just rambling. What if the Planet X system that I can see, and people like Seven Spalding and Jim SA and these guys are seeing exactly the same thing as me, right? Or, you know, they're recording the same things that I'm recording. Now, I'll show you some footage now. There's a giant planet that come up over there that I filmed. And the sun moves backwards and forwards, but the sun looks like it's on a flat plane, but there's definitely what can only be construed as a massive, great big planetary body moving above us. Now, what if the Planet X system comes around, we get the tail end of its tail, you know, or whatever, but at the same time, it causes a massive plasma discharge, you know, or plasma storm. I don't fucking know, I'm not that well versed in it, but causes a plasma storm, which can evaporate cities or liquefy the ground. So, because the plasma's looking for a place to ground itself, what if it gets down and as it hits the mountains or whatever, you know, so in the mud flood, I've been watching a guy, Static Iniak, he's going on about how California was an island, but you can see it's had mud poured all over it. Now, something's obviously happened, a reset. Martin Liedik's proved this, and many others. So what if the reset is to do with Planet X right now? It comes round. Might not be 3,600 years. Maybe that's bollocks, but it comes round with such regular occurrence that what happens is the elites know that this thing is coming. You can see the signs in the sky because the sky is red. The sun looks like a cross at the moment, crucifix, with 4 light beams coming out of it. So yeah, I suppose I should tie in, what's the guy's name? Brian Austin Lambert 333. Now I'm not saying what this guy is saying is true, but after watching some of this stuff tonight, now I'm a bit disappointed. He says he's a truther and he wants to get the truth out. He's trying to charge everybody $350 for the privilege, to join his website, blah blah blah, and all this bollocks. I don't agree with that. I don't. But some of the stuff he's saying is the stuff that I'm recording in the sky. He said the skies will go red and the days will get shorter in the year this thing is going to happen. Well, the skies are bright red. I just showed you that outside. Everybody is saying how it feels like time has changed, where, and I've experienced this myself, where I can get up and sometimes the day seems to take forever, and other days I get up and it seems like the day's over before I've even started doing anything. Now I know people are going to say time's relative, blah blah blah. Now I understand that, but it physically feels like the days are different lengths, and shorter. It does. It feels, especially over the last few months, it seems to be getting more intense. Everyone around the world is hearing a high pitch ringing sound in their ears, right? I'm getting these weird orbs that are still flying at my office window, that looks like an alien world coming towards us. We're all getting ringing in the ears right now. What if this Planet X system comes around and it starts to create a massive plasma discharge storm around it, and that's what affects us. That's what affects the sun and makes everything go mental. That's why people are getting ringing in their ears. That's why the elites are getting ready, because what they do, they go underground because they know this thing's coming, using astrology and the stuff that they've hidden from us, right? They know it's coming, they know the date is coming, they're all going to fuck off underground. We're then left to pick up the pieces, yeah? So 7 years of tribulation, yeah? Where we basically kill each other for what resources are left, and then they then come back up from where they were, from underground. The masters, whatever you want to call them. If you watch Martin Liedick's things, it's brilliant, because he shows you all these old books and that with what clearly looks like, the Gentiles, us, and the masters, the controllers, and it looks like they, wait 7 years, the tribulation, which brings, all that Bible crap into play, especially if you watch this Brian Austin Lambert 33, I think that's his name, and you'll see some of the things he's saying in there is exactly what Martin Liedick has been saying. It's that they tie together, where they've been rubbing this in our faces. They know this thing's coming, so what they do, they destroy society because there's no point fixing it. So they get everyone in as much debt as possible. Chaos ensues all over the world. There seems to be blatant corruption in governments all around the world, and blatant disregard, for us, the normal people, the Gentiles, so they disappear underground into their bases. They then come back up. Now, the thing is that it's not just, what if it's not like one faction, just the elites? What if it's the Russians know, and China know, and America know what's happening, right? And the other countries around the world are maybe aware, maybe they're not. They then align themselves with one of the three big powers. They're waiting for the trigger calls that this Brian Lambert, Austin Lambert 333, i.e. the red skies and the shortening of days. They will then know that that is the year that this thing's going to happen. You need to watch this Brian Austin Lambert, and he's going on about the SpaceX, and they were launching in 2017. Why did they do it on certain dates? Blah blah blah. And it's quite good the way he ties it in. Yeah, what if we all have to face the tribulation? 7 years later, these fuckers come back up. Everyone's so decimated and desperate, and the place is fucked. That if a group of people come along and they are offering you safety and food and water, but you have to do things this way or that way, it makes sense. The reset happens over and over again. So China, they know. Russia, they know. America, they fucking know. The elites know as well. And what if they're not one group? What if they are all working against each other to be the strongest, to take back control when this reset happens? And this reset happens over and over and over and over and over and over again until the end of time, basically. And it's almost a game to these people now, where because the information of this has been so lost and hidden from the general public, that only a few of these, power groups around the world know this. And it's a private war between them to see which one's going to be strongest and who doesn't get affected by the coming plasma storm, i.e. Planet X plasma storm catastrophe. And then we all have to bow down to our new leaders, be it China, Russia, or the Americans again, or Israel, or whatever you want. But what they're doing now, they're setting up the people they want to have as their new slaves after the reset. They don't want, people that, or cultures that have identities. They don't, so over here British, was, stiff upper lip and all this bollocks, because it is bollocks, because we are all one at the end of the day. But wherever you live in the world, you tend to have your culture. Now they don't want that, because that unites a people. So the best way to, disrupt that would be to mix the population, which is what they're doing. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I don't. But they're doing it on such a grand scale that there's going to be no cultural identity left of anybody in a minute, because it's going to be, it's going to be a blend, multicultural, which is fine. I'm quite fine with a multicultural world and multicultural way of living. But if a reset happens, they then have a subservient human fucking slave species that aren't united under one religion or belief, because it will be so watered down that we are then easier to enslave, than maybe last time. Maybe this is the battle, us against them. Maybe the 1% are Satan and his fucking bunch of cronies, and every time this reset happens, they use it to their advantage to enslave us in a different way. Now, I don't know if any of this is right, or if this has made any sense at all, or I'll even end up posting this, because I'm talking to my camera while pointing it at my window, trying to prove to you that there's planets in the sky and that there's orbs flying at my window. Can you see that? The one thing I will say, when I first started seeing this, I was having some strange experiences. I had lens for my phone, and every time I put it on and pointed it down, it was showing you, or showing me, this here. I think that mask you can see there behind the light of my phone camera looks the same as the sun, because they're hiding this thing, but what's happening is that somehow it's manifesting itself and showing us what's coming, and what comes is our system and the Planet X system cross each other. Sometimes we swap objects, you know, which ties into the Thunderbolts project and David Tower and the Saturn myth, and you know, and all that. It resets, ties us into Martin Liedick and all his research and that. And a lot of the results I seem to be getting seem to be backing up this Brian Austin Lambert as well. Now, all of this is probably just a waffle. I might just put this on as a rant and see if anybody can make any sense of what I'm trying to say, because it's very difficult. Like I said, when you know, you're pretty sure we live on a flat plane, or a flat-ish plane, you know, I mean, water should just be the biggie there for everybody. The most simplest explanation is usually the right one. Do we live on a sphere that water sticks to? Or do we just live on a flat plane where water finds a level? It makes more sense. But it's very difficult when you think that way. And you've done experiments to prove it. But I'm seeing planets in the sky every fucking day. And they're getting bigger and bigger. The colours, the sun has changed dramatically just this week. I can't even seem to get a proper picture of it anymore. The sky is bright red at night, it's bright red. You know, that's what this Brian Austin Lambert was saying. Time has changed. If you're a truther and you're into this community, time has changed. Now, rather than fighting with each other, the flat earthers fighting with the glow beds. Yeah, people saying that, you know, the Tartaria and the mud floods and all that isn't real, because it is. You know when something's real because you get the gut feeling, it makes you feel that way. The Thunderbolts project, going on about electromagnetic universe and how things work. This Brian Austin Lambert, although seems to be a bit of a big-headed know-it-all, some of the stuff that he's saying, or a lot of the stuff that he's saying, makes a lot of sense. So why can't, rather than we all arguing with each other and I'm falling out with you, and you know, I'm going to put this out there as well. Wayne Steiger. Now I love Wayne. I've been watching his channel for a while. I've got a lot of respect for the guy, and I think he let himself down the other day saying what he did about the Planet X community. Fair play. We all say things sometimes that we don't like, but that's a good example. You've got Planet X News slagging off Wayne Steiger, when really, if we're looking for the truth and we're trying to prove this, or whatever we're looking for, we should all be working together. Now, it seems to me that all these things, Brian Austin Lambert, Martin Liedick, and the, you know, Flat Earth, and you know, all of this all ties in together. It does. Santos Bacchini, Plasma, Planet X. It's all part of the same thing that's been hidden from us. All of it. And we're all so busy, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Compartmentalised, is that it? Fuck knows, I don't know. But we're all so busy looking at our little bit. Planet X. I'm Planet X hunter, right? But I want to say a million things about a million things. And it's difficult because I've branded myself as Planet X hunter. But I've got a million things I want to say to you all. But I don't want to stray too far from the narrative because that's what I'm advertising. And then if I do want to talk about the flat earth, or I want to talk about something else, I'm going to get shot down for it by people that follow me and don't believe that way, because that's what we're being taught. The simplest explanation is usually the right one, and we have ancient texts saying that to destroy the red dragon comes around, and it happens, and the Egyptians recorded it, the Babylonians and the Sumerians, and recorded this thing, right, coming round. We've had resets, we have, right, we've had the evidence from, lots of reliable sources, David Talbot and people like that, and the Thunderbolts Project, that we have plasma discharges, right? I've got this Brian Austin Lambert going on about, he thinks he knows everything, and he's pretty good, the case that he's putting forward, although he's probably doing it the wrong way. But what I see out of all this is, why can't we all work together, all of us? Because I know too full well that this video won't get to Martin, and it probably won't get to this Brian Austin Lambert, and it probably won't get to the Thunderbolts Project, but this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be working together. We're supposed to be taking all the bits, and we're supposed to be tying them together and working out the truth, instead of fighting against who's right and who's wrong about whether the world's flat, or it doesn't matter, or Wayne shouldn't have said something about this. It doesn't matter. All right, he said something stupid, but it doesn't matter, because you two falling out and people giving you hate, and him, Scott Love and all that. I mean, I get all that, right? People, I do, but at the same time, all that's doing is causing more problems. That's all it's doing. When really, we should be, all be working together. All of us. I've just realised I've been filming my window now for 29 minutes, 44 seconds. So I'm going to sign off there. I don't know if any of this makes any sense. I'm just going to put it on as a rant and hope one or two of you understand. Alright, peace and love.